So, we're going to talk about affordability. Okay, so an overview of what we're going to talk about tonight is we're going to talk about why Waubonsie. We're also going to go through the cost of attendance for Waubonsie and what that means, different payment options, financial aid and scholarships, the free application for federal student aid, which most most of you probably know that as the FAFSA, the alternative application for Illinois financial aid. We're going to talk about the role of the financial aid office and also talk about some of the free resources for enrolled students at Waubonsie. So why Waubonsie? Well, Waubonsie is actually pretty affordable. Being that it's a community college, the costs are lower. So you're receiving higher education at a lower cost overall. When you compare that to some of the other colleges that are in and around the area, we're about a third of the price as of a public university. We also have that 100% of our credits can be taken here at less than 40% of the cost. And there's a lot of the credits, actually, no, the credits are actually transferable within the state schools in Illinois. For a full year of full-time enrollment at Waubonsie, it's about $4,200. And when we talk about full year full-time enrollment, we're talking about 30 credits. So that's about 15 credits in the fall and about 15 credits in the spring. And a full associate's degree is about $8,400. That's roughly a 2-year degree, but it also depends on the student if you're going to go part-time or full-time. It also depends on if you're going to take the summer semester and actually take some credits for there. So as you see, Waubonsie has, we have tuition and fees just like everybody else. We have, there are travel expenses, which goes into the cost of attendance. And then, you have your equipment, room materials, books and supplies, room and board. Because Waubonsie is not a residential campus, the main expense at Waubonsie happens to be your tuition fees and your books to attend the school. We do have out on our website, we have a simple tuition calculator. So depending on the number of credits you're going to take, it'll actually go through and tell you what that's going to be and how much that's going to cost. So I definitely recommend checking that out. Cost of attendance. So just to explain what the cost of attendance is. So at Waubonsie, we have your direct costs. And the direct cost to attend Waubonsie is actually your tuition fees, books, and supplies. So when the cost of attendance is actually established by a school, it provides the estimation of the educational costs and what you're going to incur throughout the degree that you're seeking at that school. So because we do not have the housing, transportation, or miscellaneous expenses that are incorporated with the school, because again, we're not a residential campus, you're going to see that I only have our direct costs as the tuition fees, books, and supplies. So again, a cost of attendance does involve all of these categories, but Waubonsie strictly is just the tuition fees, books, and supplies. And if you want to go and kind of see maybe what you might be awarded for, you can go ahead and check out our net price calculator. And that is out on our website also. And it's underneath the financial aid section of our website. To go over some different payment plan options. So there's lots of different ways that students can pay at Waubonsie. And Waubonsie does have some payment plans that actually are pretty easy to kind of set up and use. And our student accounts and cashier's office is actually a really good point of contact if any questions that you may have about the payment plans. But students and families have a choice if they want to just pay the balance in full. You can also set up an interest-free payment plan. So it's $25 to set that up, and then the payment plans are set out for a couple of months depending on when you register, and it allows you to actually make those monthly payments. Monthly payments are typically around the 20th of every month, and usually once you set that up, you make that first payment, and then every month after that, you're going to know exactly what those payment plans are because it kind of divides it out into even payments. You also have the ability to set up a payment withdrawal directly from your bank account. So instead of actually going in every month and setting it up so that you can make the payment you can also actually have it so it just directly comes out of your account. So that's kind of an easy setup, and that's also done right on the school's website. There's also the ability to have a parent or guardian to pay directly online. So a student can go ahead and they can actually set up a way to have someone else that's helping pay their tuition to be able to go on and actually look at that tuition bill and make a payment directly to that student's account. We do have arrangements for employers to be billed directly. We also process and work with the 529 College Illinois plans and other college savings plans. We have private scholarships that actually send us payments directly, and we apply that to students' accounts so that it can help pay for their education. And then we have our federal financial aid funds, which is by filling out the FAFSA. And then we also have state financial aid funds, which is the Illinois MAP grant. And that's that other application, the Alternative Illinois for Financial Aid Students. And, again, visit our cost and payments page on waubonsie.edu, because it'll go through and actually really kind of give you some ideas of different ways that you can go ahead and pay for your education at Waubonsie, because there are lots of different options. Okay, I kind of want to go over a little bit about, financial aid and scholarships and what that is. So 60% of new full-time students at Waubonsie receive financial aid. About 300 or more foundation scholarships are awarded each year to Waubonsie students. The types of different funds to help pay for educational expenses is you have scholarships, state grants, federal grants, direct loan payments, in-campus employment is another option. To kind of quick explain the difference between grants and scholarship versus employment and loans is grants and scholarships is money that is not paid back, okay? So if you're awarded a grant or a scholarship, that is money that's directly applied to your account and you do not have to pay that back at all. Versus employment in loans is, so for loans, that is money that you borrow with the intent to go ahead and repay that back when you're done with your education. And then employment, it just requires something. So you can get a job on campus and you can make some money while you go to school. And that's where it comes, is it requires something in return. So there's a program called the Federal Work Study Program, and there's also just campus employment at Waubonsie. Both of them are great ways to kind of build a resume for students and also get to know different departments and different things that happen around campus. And then part of what is determined by what's offered to a student is a lot of it has to do with the cost of attendance. And then also the student's expected family contribution. So when I talk about the student's expected family contribution, that actually has a lot to do with directly that financial aid application form, so that FAFSA. So by filling that out, students are going to know what federal funds they qualify for. And then that will determine the other types of grants that they could be eligible for. Now, just keep in mind, you do not have to complete a FAFSA to attend school, because there are lots of other ways to, but that is just one really good, helpful way to actually help pay for educational costs. So to talk a little bit more again about financial aid and scholarships, Waubonsie Foundation Scholarships opens up every year on October 1st and closes in February. So our application cycle for our foundation scholarships actually did open already, and it did close back in February. Students are actually being awarded here shortly on those that did apply for those scholarships. So for anyone that attends in the fall, come October 1st, it's the same time that the FAFSA opens, that you also want to take a look out for our foundation scholarships, but those would be applying for the following year, but it's still something to look at and look forward to seeing. There's also external scholarships, and that can be found out on Waubonsie's website. And external scholarships, they all have different deadlines and close dates. They have different requirements for each scholarship. So you definitely want to check those out. And most of those scholarships will send money directly to the school. Some will send it to the student for the student to actually pay the educational costs. So that's something to keep in mind when applying. There's state scholarships. So ISAC.org, which is the Illinois Student Assistance Commission, they have scholarships out there for students. College Board Scholarship, FastWeb Scholarship, and scholarships.com is another one. Remember, when you're applying for scholarships, you should never pay to apply for a scholarship. So make sure that you're on a good website that actually has good scholarships for you. And if you ever have a question, just ask Bonzi staff member, financial aid office, and we can definitely help direct you to a good website to apply. And then another one is we have the state programs that work and they provide assistance towards educational costs. So we have what's called the Waubonsie Works program, and that provides assistance for 12 free certificate programs for students between the ages of 17 and 24 years of age. So for more information, you can go on Waubonsie's website and you can look up the Waubonsie Works program. And again, there's criteria for that, but all that information is there. Another one is the Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act, and that's actually through the unemployment office. It's for underemployed or unemployed community members, and they can receive assistance with coming to school and actually receiving an education. There are eligibility requirements that students do have to meet. And there is an application that has to be completed. And that can be done through the Illinois WorkNet Center. Each county has a center that students can apply. But if you have any questions, definitely ask us and we can direct you to the correct place. Okay, just to talk a little bit more about the FAFSA. So who can apply and who's eligible? So students who actually complete the FAFSA, they have to be enrolled or accepted into an eligible program of study. So you need to be degree seeking, and when we say degree, that could be a certificate, or it could be a program that's recognized by the federal government to receive financial aid. You must be a U.S. citizen or eligible non-citizen. You have to be registered for selective service, have a valid Social Security number. You must not be have your eligibility suspended or terminated due to drug-related conviction. You may not be in default on federal student loans, and you cannot owe a repayment of federal grants. There's two different ways that you can apply. One of them is actually just on the web through FAFSA's website, or you can actually download the app. It's My Student Aid mobile app, and it can be downloaded and done right on your phone. The process, depending on if you've already created that FSA user ID, it could take anywhere from 15 minutes for one student up to a half hour for another, but we are here to help you and assist you through that. So one of the first steps that everybody would want to do is create a user ID. So you would want to create one for a student and one for the parent, and then that way you can go ahead and log in. Once that is completed, it takes about 3 to 5 days for us to receive that information. And if you had to fill out a signature page and mail that in, that could take, up to 3 weeks for that to be processed. But feel free to go ahead and contact the school if you have any questions. And you can even reserve a spot and we can actually go through one-on-one with you to complete that financial aid application and answer the questions that you may have. Once we receive your FAFSA at the school, we notify you. And then everything that Waubonsie needs is actually done through MyWCC. So every student does have a missing requirement that they need to complete. Some of them are really simple and quick, and some of them may require a little bit more assistance with talking with us. But again, we're here to help. We're going to, try and get you in school and as soon as you can and get you started on that degree. Okay, the alternative application for Illinois financial aid. So this one is actually done through ISAC. And this is another one that is to help students actually come to school. It is a grant program, and that uses the Illinois MAP grant. Students that can apply is you have to be living in Illinois to be eligible, and you have to be attending an Illinois college. And then you need to be degree seeking. Degree seeking could also be going towards an eligible certificate program. And you cannot be eligible for federal financial aid through FAFSA. So if you're eligible through FAFSA, you're not going to be eligible for this one. It's geared more towards undocumented students and transgender students. And again, you can apply at thestudentportal.isac.org. And they have a lot of good information on there to kind of help answer some of those questions. You have to go through and create a user ID. And then there's a pre-screening questionnaire that students and families have to go through and complete. And then you'll be able to finish that ID and a password. And if there is a parent, then they'll go ahead and create that too. The results are sent electronically to the schools listed. That could take about 3 to 5 days to process. And then we notify students who are eligible. Again, if you need help with this one at all, go ahead and reserve a one-on-one spot for us on our website, and we'll go ahead and we'll help you get through that. To kind of just, give an overview of the role of the financial aid office. So the financial aid office is actually here to help students and families. We help collect the documentation requested, and we're requesting a lot of that information on behalf of the Department of Education. Some of it is school requirements, some of it's federal. We're also there to help assist and answer any questions when it comes to corrections that have to be completed. We help determine the eligibility for financial aid. And when I say financial aid, that could also mean beyond just the federal requirements, but also, when it comes to, state requirements and things of that nature. We actually send award notifications to students to let them know what the cost of attendance is, what their expected family contribution is, and what they're actually awarded. We're also here to help students, review any, questions they have, any special circumstances. We help students, from semester to semester on how the financial aid works and how it applies to students, and if they have questions about any of the aid that they have. So we are here. Please utilize us. And then I wanted to point out some free resources for enrolled students. So we do have academic and career advising, and they're there to kind of help students that maybe don't quite know what career they want to go for. So I would use them. We also have the TRIO support services, and they actually help first generation low income or disabled students. And it's a program that kind of walks through the students through their time at Waubonsie and counsels them and help them register for the courses that they need. Then we have the Access Center for Disability Resources, and they collaborate with instructors on campus and with other departments, to help students that may have some barriers that they need help with getting through. And so that's another good resource for anyone. And if you're not sure if you qualify for actually TRIO or Access Center, I would just reach out to them and ask, and they can kind of go through that with you. We also have Student Life. Student Life is great for students with engagement on campus. They have a lot of different activities throughout the year. They have a lot of different programs and just events and in clubs that students can join. We also have free tutoring services. So it doesn't matter where you're at, what major, the tutoring services are available. They have been doing some remotely. They also offer it on campus, but that's a great spot, to help if there's something that you have questions on. We also have our library technology support. They actually coordinate with TAC. So if a student needs a laptop to start school, or say needs a hotspot or a webcam, they would go ahead and they would contact them, and they would help assist you with getting you those resources that you need to actually attend school, especially from an online format. So definitely reach out to them. Another thing to point out is all students attending do get Microsoft Office software, and that is for free as long as you're a student. And then we have library services, and they're available on campus and online with various resources. So there's a lot of resources for students online through the library. They also have extensive libraries at the Sugar Grove campus, but they're also seen, at the other campuses too. And we also have lots of computer labs. So there's computer labs at the different campuses, and they actually are there to help students work on different assignments. And depending on your program, they do have different computers set up to actually help with you being successful in those courses. So if you have any questions, you definitely want to come see, the financial aid office. We are available on phone, email, and chat. We also have the student accounts and cashier's office, and they're available on phone, email, and chat. Do want to point out that student accounts and cashiers is at the Sugar Grove campus, although payments can be made at any campus. They are primarily at the Student Center at Sugar Grove. And then financial aid is available at all 4 campuses, but Fox Valley and Plano, it has limited hours. But we are around to help. You do not need an appointment to come and see financial aid. We do have walk-in hours available. So just come on in and sign in, and we can definitely help you out. When you go on Waubonsee's homepage, if you do need help completing, the financial aid application or have questions about missing documents, you can actually go right on the financial aid page, and underneath admissions, you'll see financial aid and scholarships. That'll take you to the financial aid homepage. And then all the way towards the bottom, you can reserve a spot. And once you click on that, it's going to take you to a sign up spot, and you'll go ahead and sign up. And then we'll contact you to make sure that we can get a day and time that you would put down as a preference. And we'll actually have a financial aid advisor reach out to you directly. And, it's through Zoom or phone. And then we can actually go over anything that you need. And we'll complete a financial aid application form with you through Zoom if that's what you prefer to. Reach out, ask, and we'll definitely get you the answer you need to try and help you get enrolled. Or if you already have started the process and you're stuck and not sure where to go next, just reach out, and then we'll see where you're at in the process, and we'll try and see how we can get you through to the next part. Again, if anyone has any questions at all, please reach out to one of our departments. We are more than happy to help and try and get you through to the next part of getting enrolled at Waubonsee.